All right, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about the iFi GO Link Max, and I have it currently attached to my iPhone, and I'm using a bunch of my more portable setups to kind of get me where I want to be. But before we get to all that, this was sent out by iFi. They're not asking me to say or do anything other than my honest opinion, and this will be going back out to them or to whoever else is on the demo tour kind of deal once this video is done. So let's dive right into build, and then we'll go into how it sounds to my ears and my opinions on it, and who I think it's for, and final thoughts. So let's dive right into it. It's a pretty simple little dongle device. It has a pretty nice little silver cable linking it to the connector to the actual DAC, dongle DAC amp kind of device here. And build quality, I think, is excellent. It's very iFi. It's a solid piece of kit. It's got that silver cable is nice. I do worry about just anything that has like a cable like this where it's kind of loose, it's in your pocket, kinks or potential for breaks or that kind of thing is a little bit worrisome, but I also understand why it's there, so it can be a little more flexible. You don't have this giant thing like just plunked into your phone or whatever. Something to be aware of. Never had any issues with this device in the time I had it, but I do feel like that potentially is a weak point, is having this cable here being a weak point. Not that it is now, or that I had experience with it. Just it seems like that would be the weak point for it. Anyhow, overall though, the build is very simple. It's literally just two pieces of aluminum with obviously the stuff inside, and then that silver cable. It's got 4.4 and 3.5 on the device itself. I don't really have any qualms with it, other than that the cable being a potential for failure. But that once again, I have never heard anybody say there's a failure. I haven't experienced it. It's just what I think. So take that for what it is. The aesthetic, I think, is quite nice. You can't really get it here. It's a little bit dark, but it actually has like this slate gray, almost green kind of tint color to it. And it's a pretty little device, I think, for what it is. I mean, it's a dongle DAC that you use with your phone, your laptop for, on the go, that kind of stuff. But yeah, overall build and aesthetic, I think, is just fine. I have no issue with it. It neither wins any awards, nor does it have any faults, in my opinion, regarding aesthetic. And the build, like I said, no problems. I just worry about that silver cable. Okay, so sound. And this is where I always have a problem with this specific DAC chip that they put in here, which is an ESS DAC chip. And I mean, I'm treble sensitive. I'm a diagnosed treble sensitive person, and with the ESS DAC chips, I always felt that they got a little too sizzly, a little bit too etched on the highs. It would just be a little too crispy for my personal preference. I have heard DAC chips where they were tuned and a specific way, or by whoever, they went in and they did their magic, and they sound great. And depending on synergy, that can also work as well. But I will say, right off the bat, I was using this with my bokeh closed, the GO Link Max, and I felt that the highs became almost too crispy and just a little too much for what I would prefer on the go, that kind of thing. Mind you, these aren't the most on the go headphones in the world, the bokeh closed, but they are closed backs, and surprisingly, the GO Link Max powered these quite easily off of my iPhone. So yeah, take that for what it is. Was impressed that it could power them. It just was a little bit too crispy on the highs with the bokeh. I do find though that you do need to have synergy, like especially with that ESS DAC chip. And that being said, I have my ETA. These aren't the easiest to get anymore, but I had the O2s right here with me and the ADAs. And I would say the ADAs definitely helped curb the highs a bunch, and it definitely helped bring the punchiness and dynamics out of the ADA, the GO Link Max did. And it was a pretty decent, not quite there for my preference, but it was a decent synergy where it worked and it wasn't overly etched, or the highs weren't overly in my face, and I wasn't feeling like there was like this really crispy sizzle on them. And then the lows were very punchy, and I think that's one thing. This is a pretty V-shaped DAC amp dongle thing, so take that into account. Moving over to the O2s, which I'm not even sure you can get these anymore, but the O2s definitely became more V-shaped, and the dynamics though were like, wow, like these things were punchy. It was crispy, it was V-shaped, it was fun. This was a fun combo with the GO Link Max. I felt that I slightly preferred the ADAs just because it curbed the highs a little bit, but the fun and punchiness of the O2s was pretty addictive. Now, for my Goldilocks, which is kind of crazy because this is about $79 or $80 roughly, brand new. You could probably find it cheaper if they have a sale or if there's, you know, used, what have you. But my preferred listening and the thing that just like really got me going, and it just kind of, these helped curb the highs, but also it helped bring out the punchy and dynamics of the Koss Porta Pros. And I'm using purple Yaxi pads here, which is a must in my opinion. And this combo, fantastic. Loved it. Hip hop, jamming out, listening to some acoustic music. I was listening to some jazz, some blues, and overall I think I kept coming back to the Koss Porta Pros with Yaxi pads and the GO Link Max. That was my kind of like, aha, this works fantastic together. This helped curb the highs, while this also helped bring up the dynamics and the punchiness of the bass on the Koss Porta Pros and give it a little bit more clarity. It was a really nice balance for those two. Not that that was a super clarity or like super like crispy or like the details weren't like crazy with that. I'd say the details were even more a better example of high detail and high crispiness was with the O2. That one became really detail monstered and very punchy and dynamic. Who is this for? I mean, if you love portable audio and you want something that can, and you have maybe like super warm or headphones that you need to maybe bring up some detail or get some little bit more crispiness or a little more punchiness to kind of help them shine, this could be the option for you, the GO Link Max. It's a great little device for what it is. If you're not treble sensitive, this also could be something you might be way into. I know there's a lot of people that really love that really crispy, sizzly highs, and this isn't sibilant. Like, it didn't ever get to the point where I was like, oh, I take these off, like rip them off my head, kind of listening to like the Bocas or any of those things. But it definitely pushed my personal preference out. Like, it was not my jam with certain headphones. But once I dialed it in, I found that Goldilocks kind of, for me, synergy with the Porta Pros and, you know, with the ETA. I preferred the ADA over the O2, but the O2 was addictive. Once I dialed in and kind of got the synergy going, it was fantastic. I was jamming out. It was great. Yeah, I think for those that are wanting to experience or trying to find synergy with some other headphones, maybe that kind of thing, this could be a great option. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with it having that ESS DAC chip. It's just my own personal preferences that don't align with it. But it's really cool that I found a synergy for it and actually was able to have a lot of fun with it and really enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's a good product. It's a little bit on the pricier side for being a dongle DAC, but it is a solid dongle DAC. It's really simple. There's no buttons, there's no nothing. You just plug and play, and everything is controlled from your phone or your laptop or whatever you have it plugged into. So that's another factor to take into account. This is just plug and play, very simple. And with that, I think it is a little bit on the pricier side, but it's also powering things that I wouldn't have thought it would be able to power, like the Boca closed. I plugged it into my atriums, that kind of thing, and it worked with those. It definitely wasn't making them the best that they could be, but it worked. So, I mean, it's pretty powerful for how little this device is. So, yeah, with that, I think it's a fun little device, and I recommend it in that sense if you're willing to experiment and try to find the synergy with it and maybe bring some headphones that would be a little bit warmer to help them shine, and or if you just like a more crispy or more sizzle, or you listen to music that has generally a quieter, like, what's that called? When it's like orchestra music or symphony music or some jazz and some blues, where it's just produced at a lower volume. It doesn't have that, you know, the loudness wars factor to it. This might help with that as well, because I did listen to some acoustic and some symphonies and orchestras with this, with the Bocas, and it did shine, and it did actually sound really excellent with that combo as well. So genre specific, headphone specific, you can synergize with it, and you can find some really great synergies. This is a cool little device. I like the fact that it made me kind of go and find synergies with my different headphones that I have on hand. And with that, I think it's a recommendation if you're willing to do those things, but it is a little bit on the pricier side. So yeah, take for that what it is and what it's worth. Anyhow, enough rambling for me. I'll let everybody have their morning, afternoon, or evening back. Cheers. You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.